For a start, the fact that Kevin Durant has 13 sneakers in his sneaker line is absolutely amazing to me, and I think it deserves congratulations, well done, because getting to 13 sneakers in your line, if you think LeBron's on to 17, so it's incredible that Kevin Durant actually is up to the 13th iteration of his sneakers, so well done that man. And then here we are with that 13th iteration, and I'm sure everybody's talking about it and everybody's going down the same line, but the first thing I did, and I'm sure you did as well, was when you looked at this, what did you see? What sneaker do these tie up to? What do they look an awful lot like? We're going to look at that in today's video as we have a look at the upcoming release on, it's not on anything, I think it's in the summer. We're going to have a look at the sneaker now for its summer release of the Nike Kevin Durant 13. This is a Talking About a 23 Sneaker channel, Talking About a 23 Sneaker channel des. Mainichi Absuru no de, mainichi meeting design. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today what we're looking at is the Kevin Durant 13, which is scheduled for release in the summer, assuming all goes well with the NBA, because now that things have been postponed or put on ice or put on hold or however you want to describe that because of this coronavirus thing, we don't know when we're going to get back up and running again. And I wonder if that will affect the release timeline for sneakers, because of course they have the sneakers released at a specific time so that they get as much of the hype as possible, and without the NBA season there to back up this kind of release, are they actually going to go ahead and drop it, or are they going to put it on ice and bring it back maybe for the next year? But either way, whatever happens with that is projected right now to drop in the summer. And as soon as I saw this when I was looking for sneakers to review this week, I was like, yes, reviewing that, even though it's a little bit ahead of time, because I think it's an absolutely clean sneaker. I really, really buy it. I'm sold on it, even though it looks an awful lot like another sneaker. And I'm sure you've already guessed which sneaker I'm going to be going to, but it was the original OG BB Adapt sneakers, which I'm sure are behind me now, and they are very close in their colorway and very close in their construction to these Kevin Durant 13s. So I'm going to look at some of the places where they are similar, but also take apart the Kevin Durant 13s and look at each of the signature features on there. And the first thing I want to do is I want to compare to those Adapt BBs, the OGs, which will be behind me right now. And hopefully what you can see in there is one of my favorite features. I've seen it on some Flyknit sneakers, the 4% as well, and things like that, where the swoosh dips into the midsole. I think that's cool. I really, really dig it, and I really dig how they sort of switch up the colors between the two different segments of the swoosh, the part that's in the upper and then the part that's in the midsole. And you can see that here, that on the lateral side, the big swoosh dips into the midsole and turns grey down there, and then back to its sort of silvery white as it goes towards the ankle. But on the medial side, that swoosh is much smaller and a little bit further back in the sneaker, but still, boing, as you can see right here, that it does the same thing where it drops down into the midfoot and you have that two-tone effect going on because of that. And I think that's cool. I really like when they do that on sneakers, and they did do that on the BB Adapt 1.0 OGs, and then again here you can see that they've done that as well. And I think it's a yes for me. It's kind of a cool feature of the sneaker. Now staying close by there, if we zoom in and have a look at the upper, you can see that the upper is actually segmented into squares, and it says that those squares are supposed to represent the Brooklyn Nets, but I can't find out why. I think it's something to do with uniforms or something like that, but I'm not a basketball man, so I'm not all that sure what the connection between these and the Brooklyn Nets are. Please tell me in the comments down below, because I sure as hell don't know. But it would be cool to know that, from you guys that, but if you do, like I say, zoom in pretty close to these guys and have a look at the upper, you can see it is segmented into small squares, which again is a pretty cool feature. But then coming down from that upper, we get to one of those sort of commonalities between the BB Adapts and these. Right on the midfoot there, you see that very distinctive blue piece of material, and if you zoom in on it, you can see it's Kevin Durant's number, which is number 7. But that colour and that placement of that piece of material on the midfoot is very, very similar again to the BB Adapts, the OG ones. But that blue motif is actually quite important because it's repeated in other places on the sneaker, and that repetition helps break up the sneaker into its different parts. So if you go up onto the laces, you can see the laces are actually sort of interspersed with that blue colour to add a little bit of pop to the lacing system. And then it's kind of tucked away inside, but if you go even further up and look at the tongue on there, you can see that the tongue has the same sort of color in there. And it just brings an extra layer of color and an extra layer of detail to what is a very solid upper. But what is not solid is the midfoot nor the outsole. So if we look at the midsole first, you can see that midsole is a kind of speckled effect midsole on there, and I'm sure they did that because the upper half of the sneaker is very sort of plain and solid, so they wanted to bring something in the midfoot or the midsole, I shouldn't say midfoot, the midsole, that has a bit more effect on it, and in the case of these it's that kind of speckled effect. But then when you go down from the midsole into the outsole, it changes again into a marbled effect, and I think collectively the solid black of the upper, then the speckled effect of the midsole, and then the marbled effect of the outsole looks really, really good, and it works. If they'd gone with plain solid colors, possibly white, on either of those two locations, it would have appeared too dull, especially against an all black upper. So I'm glad that they went with that speckled midsole and they went with that marbled outsole. For me, it adds character to the sneaker and it makes it look pretty good. What surprised me in a way is if you flip around to the back and have a look at the heel, is how simple the heel is. I would have thought there'd be something more on there, but what that does give you the chance to do is to look at the materials on the heel, and you can see that those materials kind of wrap around and come towards the front of the sneaker, much in the way that an Air Jordan 1 would do, and the support on the ankle there from those leather materials will give you a bit more traction, perhaps, shall we say, or a bit more stability on court if you're going to go play basketball in these guys. So, but all in all, I think it's a really cool sneaker. It's clean. As soon as I saw it, I was just like, man, that's a clean looking sneaker. Apparently, it doesn't look that much different from the Kevin Durant 12s, but to be honest, I haven't put them side by side to be able to make that judgment myself. But maybe you in the comments down below could let me know what you think and whether or not these Kevin Durant 13s are enough of an evolution from the Kevin Durant 12s. For me, though, it's that tie up to the Adapt 1.0 BBs that makes me, they're awful similar. They're very, very similar to look at. Now, I don't know if you had them in hand, if you'd just be like, nah, they're totally different sneakers. But there's something about the way the colors are blocked. There's something about the sort of way that even the width of the outsole and the width of the midsole, they just look very, very similar. And it might be to do with the colorway, the black colorway matching the sort of darker BB Adapt ones that we've seen before. And later down the line, you'll get Kevin Durant 13s in multiple colors that will take me away from that tie up to the BB Adapts. But for first out of the gate, first look at these Kevin Durant 13s, that was my first impression, but it's still a fire sneaker, very clean and very worth people going out there and getting their hands on these guys. So a yes, yes, yes for me, absolutely. So, but that's all I've got time for today, guys. Thank you guys for checking out the content. To be honest, these days have been slightly challenging with the coronavirus going on with my regular work. I've also got my young family, and I was doing live videos about the coronavirus as well, and then these daily drops on YouTube. So things have been pretty challenging, but I've kept on going through it. The one thing that I haven't done a great job of is comments, so hopefully I'll catch up on my comments soon. For now, though, it's time for me to sign off and do what I do at the end of every single video, which is put up a link to the Butter Movement playlist where you'll find the rarest sneakers in the world in hand, samples, player exclusives, prototypes, stuff like that. Really incredible looking sneakers. So if I put that link up, you'll be able to click on that and get a menu of other videos and choose one of those and go ahead and watch it. So doing, there's a link to that playlist. Check out that or any of the other videos contained in that menu. But for now, all that's left for me to do is to thank you guys for checking out my content. But as I do this every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.
So congratulations to anyone who got it right. This is the Nate Robinson, also known as the Nate Posit. This is the foam posit light that Nate Robinson wore during the dunk competition. So I'm going to give you guys a close-up on-hand look of this shoe, and I'm sure Doug will have already shown you guys a bunch of pictures of actually Nate wearing the shoe. This was a shoe that was, for me, was pretty difficult to find, to be honest with you. It was difficult to find at a good price. A lot of them, I don't really know why, because not a very sought after colorway, not a very sought after shoe, I should say, in general. You know, there's also one called the Paranorman, which is sort of a similar style to this, in the sense that it's like a foam posit, but just again, you know, they were sought after shoes, but there's only a handful of these designs that collectors go after, and this is one of them. So I'll give you guys a close up from all angles. You've got the NR there for Nate Robinson, in sort of a shield design here. It's cool. Changes colors as it goes through like this. To this side. So this is a PE game worn by Shoe Butter in the men's beer league finals. Take a look at this one too. I don't think there's any difference. I think they're both the same, but yep, that's the Nate Posit. So I'll pass it back to Doug. So congratulations if you guys got this one right, and we'll be back again in a couple of days with another little game like this. Hope you guys enjoyed.